Welcome to a 2v2 on Moscow Outskirts Winter. This game is going to be Walter and Thunderbuddy, hashtag Nemo, versus KruegerDunning and TheLiquidActor. So, could be interesting. Gonna see double Soviets in the north, double tier 2, versus mixed axis in the south. We've already got counterattack and shock rifle immediately picked by the Soviets. Pretty reasonable commanders on this map. And Walter and Thunderbuddy have access to breakthrough Luftwaffe Spec Ops, Spearhead, Mechanized Assault, and Joint Operations. So, pretty standard commander loadouts for all sides, I would say. Nothing too spectacularly interesting, although counterattack does not seem very popular anymore. I guess the nerfs to the B4 have made people hesitant to use it. I mean, the B4 probably still seems like it's okay to me, but I don't know. Every time I've seen it fielded so far, this patch has been pretty underwhelming. So, kind of interesting. That could just purely be my random, very few experiences. I don't know, it just doesn't seem that popular. It's all about guards this patch, because of the huge PTRS buffs, and the counterattack tactics doesn't have guards, so it's pretty much, that's what it comes down to. Maxim suppresses some grenadiers right there, forces a retreat. It looks like the early game is going mostly to the allies, I guess. Kind of hard to tell, actually, because nobody seems to hold the fuel points, although the Axis do hold the left side fuel for now. They are cut off from the right side briefly. These two squads are pretty deep. KruegerDunning is already floating a lot for some reason. Two conscript Maxim opening. TheLiquidActor going with an extraordinarily early AT gun for some reason. Common engineers are going to retreat right there. These conscripts are taking control of the munitions right there. These two squads are going to make their way left to maybe take control of the cutoff or victory point. Stern Pioneers continue making their way right, but still nobody has taken control of the cutoff right there. These Grenadiers are idle, and there's some idle squads hanging out over here as well. Conscripts crossing the red cover road. Field gun moving up. I again have no idea what he built this to counter. There's a field gun, 4.5 minutes. Pretty strangely early.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector. Awaiting command. AT gun ready. Enemy contact.
Grenadiers engaging against this field gun, just circling it a little bit. These two squads making their way left to engage against that field gun, which might get stolen, having fielded that so early. High explosive barrage shot, though, on the retreating squad, almost wiped it. There it goes. Grenade on the field gun wipes it. Conscripts try and push those Volksgrenadiers back. The second squad arrives to support. Two squads left did take the VP, but have neglected to grab the left side fuel. And it looks like the Axis will have a pretty distinct fuel advantage here in the early game. Allies will have a munitions advantage. If the Allies don't take control of the right side fuel, there is a Maxim facing straight towards a shed over here on the right side, apparently. And it is dying to Cernpios, and I'm not sure either player is paying any attention to this to this engagement, which is probably the worst usage of a Maxim that I have ever seen in my life. MG42 engaging against the squads over here on the left side. And it looks like all conscripts will be forced to make a full retreat from massed Axis infantry in the area.
We have defensive smoke capabilities.
Grenade toss on the Maxim right there. There they go. Volksgrenadiers will retreat. A couple squads heading left to take some of that territory over there back, and the Axis have won the engagement for the left side munitions, and if they can set up a strong defense on this approach, might be able to shut down some Soviet pushes. Harassment here in the back is going to get retaken by the Soviet players, and Stern Pioneers have salvaged that thing, maybe? No, it's just still sitting there. He could have salvaged that. Okay, he's going to make his way back towards the cutoff, which nobody has even sent one squad from either team towards that cutoff, apparently. Shock troops wipe those Grens, which are just not even being monitored. Machine gun is also going to die.
Enemy is taking our territory.
Any second. There it goes.
The enemy has killed a machine
MG42 LMG right here that those conscripts could recover if they wanted to. Rakettenwerfer setting up here by the fence. Grenade toss into the church with stern pios on the north flank could wipe that. Maxim targets the stern pios, which was a good targeting decision if Kruger did that manually. So Sterns will not be able to get in close for the flank. And Maxim should be able to hold here for... Well, why did he switch back to the Volksgrenadiers? If those Sterns get unsuppressed, they might be able to force that Maxim from the building. I don't know. Kettenwerfer pulls back a little bit. Shock troops and conscripts still... Nobody's really going to pick up an MG42 is sitting there on the ground. Shock troops take control of the left side fuel. These two conscript squads making their way. Pick it up with the conscripts and not the shocks. Also, I hope. Stern pilots finish capturing the munitions and are apparently just going to basically ignore that Maxim. Please retreat. .222 fielded over here on the left side. That grenade! Oh, that grenade. Flamethrower popped right there too, I think. Counter grenade on those Volksgrenadiers doesn't do all that much. Field gun cleared, that .222 should be pretty much fine. Stern Pioneers did not retreat, in case anybody was wondering how that story ended. And they're dead. .222 pulls away from the smoke grenade right there. Maxim is going to bring that field gun low on the flank. Tried to steal it with Pios, but it doesn't work. Volksgrenadiers are going to have to retreat away from this engagement soon. Falling pretty low here. AT grenade's going to seal the deal on the scout car, I think. Wow, I can't believe that's still alive. I could have sworn that was going to kill that. Gets away by a tiny sliver. Two shock troops kill another infantry squad over here in the snow. And conscripts making their way forward might be able to chase off that Rakettenwerfer or seal the deal on that .222 if it doesn't keep backpedaling towards the base. The entire right side is completely uncontested by anybody. The Maxim in the church has not even left the building to recapture the munitions or do anything over here. In fact, apparently their axes are connected to the right side fuel because they hold the... Apparently that strategic point and that munitions are connected to each other. I didn't actually know that about this map. That's never come up for me before, I guess. Usually if you hold this munitions, you also hold the cutoff right there. Interesting. Well, it's a blizzard, so I assume nothing's going to happen for the next 10 minutes. Let's just stare at the tactical map. Hey, Fallschirmjäger deployed out of that building. Get the cutoff captured. 222's getting repaired. Grenadier squad looks like it's probably committing suicide right there. We'll retreat. Fallschirmjäger walks straight into the Maxim into the church, and I really hope they retreat this time. Okay, there's the retreat. Well done. He does know about the retreat button. Confirmed. That's good. I hear a heavy mortar shooting at something. Somewhere. I think. Maybe I don't hear that. Oh, it's a mortar half-track.
Blizzard is passing. Normal weather is returning.
Soviet blob set up here in the middle. A fresh Fallschirmjäger squad deployed out of this shack. Molotov going in, Fallschirmjäger will dodge. And get back inside as it's being grenaded.
Fight as never before, Commander. Conditions clear. The blizzard is gone. There are reports of your soldiers freezing. Their weapons and clothing belong to the state.
Folks, Grenadier bomb going left. And everything over here is going to get chased away. Still nobody has picked up that LMG-42, by the way. Maxim firing at these Folks Grenadiers from range. This giant blob of infantry needs to get close. Shock troops need to get close to the Folks Grenadiers. Kind of three-man conscript squad wants to get close from Molotov toss. Standing in the incendiary mortar. And everything is burning to death, including that full conscript squad. Shock troops starting to make their way right. The 222 is making an oddly deep flank left. Try to do something, I guess. Axis again have a huge resource advantage, and tier 3 is already up here in the base. Shock troops chase away that Folks Grenadier and get. And that Grenadier squad gets away by a tiny hair. Grenadiers rifle grenade that field gun. It's got to pull back to safety away from the center. 222 diving against these shock troops. Will not hit any mines because I don't think the Soviets have planted any mines anywhere at all, unfortunately. Beep.
We have taken it.
Scout car heading right. Is about to encounter a huge blob of random stuff. Autocannon doing minor damage. Oorah! Jesus Christ, these headphones. Double Maxim in the church, bringing that Grenadier squad down rather quickly. That's gonna have to retreat. Or just sit there and die. One of those two things. Flak half-track on the field at 15 minutes. Interesting choice. Panzer IV on the field as well, in addition to the mortar half-track. With a lead this big, I'm surprised to see Walter go for such a low-tech vehicle, having already purchased Tier 4 and could have gotten the Panzer II instead. But alright, Fallschirmjäger are going to take control of the victory point right here. They are going to take Maxim fire though, and that flak half-track stands an extremely good chance of just dying to field gun fire. If it's not careful. High explosive barrage on the falls right there may force a retreat. Not get the point captured. Pinned by Maxim fire. Flak half-track will expose itself to field gun fire in its attempt to take out these machine guns. But the field guns are taking damage from LMG Grenadiers positioned in green cover right there. Shock troops making their way to... That's gonna die, I think. Oh, he's repositioning! No! He gave up. He'll get a lucky miracle main gun destroy crit though. Keep going. By some miracle, the Maxims have chosen to... I don't even know what they're doing. They keep like teleporting and... Like, why do they keep disappearing? They'll just like show up, shoot one bullet, and then be like, poof! We're gone! I don't understand why sometimes units in buildings just like do that. Whatever. That flak half-track with its main gun destroyed never moved an inch. repairs were apparently not a priority. Panzer IV set up over here on the right side, probably be engaged by at least one field gun plus T-34. Oh, what is it doing? Why would it engage? That's a terrible engagement. Okay, Panzer IV is dead. Rakettenwerfer walks into some flames. That went well. Man. Molotov going into the building over here. There it goes. Plus grenade. No attempt at dodging whatsoever. They're gonna die. Alright, dead Fallschirmjäger. That Molotov and that grenade is clearly just not really necessary. They were dead. You got them. Cutoff points being taken. Right side fuel point will no longer be connected. Grenade toss over the wall. Counter bundle grenade right there. Almost wipes the shocks. May want to retreat. There they go. Airborne assault. Wow. There's already airborne assault happening? Jeez. It doesn't feel like the game has been that long, but apparently it has. And Valiant Assault, too, for good measure. Currently has 4 whole squads, and none of them are in motion, so that Valiant Assault. Good use of that 100 munitions. He's gonna kick some serious ass. This squad deploys out of the house after Valiant Assault ends and immediately dies.
We've lost a squad of infantry.
2 squads of shock troops heading left to engage against these Volksgrenadiers right here. Wipes them very quickly in that red cover road. New Panzer IV on the field to try and punish that, despite the fact that I can't even... I mean, Walter only has 3 squads right now, yet the entire map is in Axis control. Probably because KruegerDunning walks his entire army around in one group and doesn't spread out to take territory at all, except for this one shock troop heading north now. And the TheLiquidActor is pretty guilty of doing the exact same thing, I would say. Just a giant shock troop blob from both players walking from point to point and hoping for the best, which makes Fallschirmjäger seem pretty OP since they could just pop out of the building and take a sector.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
AT grenade on the scout car right there. Smoke grenade to defend against the Panzer IV right there. Those 3 squads will still be a little vulnerable. No attack ground through the smoke, no crush maneuver, but those are some pretty advanced tactics. We should probably just limit our expectations to maybe capturing territory with less than 3 squads. Sometimes. Panzer IV engaging against this shock troop over here on the left. That's gonna take a little while for him to kill that with no top-mount machine gun in the terrain issues. Volksgrenadier walks into point-blank range on this Maxim and gets pinned. Looks like the Maxim's actually gonna fire this time rather than freak out. There's the retreat. Over here, there's a Panther on the field. Wow. Panther on the field. And I guess there will probably be a B4 at some point. He has gone tier 3. Or no, that's the other person. TheLiquidActor has gone tier 3 also, though. They've both gone tier 3. And no combat engineers currently. He's floating manpower, though, so B4 is a pretty decent possibility if he... I guess that's probably why he went this commander. I don't know. T-34 here in the middle up against this shock troop squad. AT gun retargets the Panther. Shock troops are about to get wiped. Incendiary mortar on the field gun. may clear it, especially if it walks into the fire. That will definitely increase the odds of that happening. T-34 dives into point-blank range on a Panther despite having no health remaining at all. And it is destroyed. These 3 squads... Actually, the map is turned mostly blue again, somehow. And this Panzer IV over here is trying to deal with a giant shock blob slowly, running through the blizzard, pretty much just ignore it. Still no top-mount machine gun, by the way, so it doesn't do quite as much damage versus infantry as it could. It's good to try and face forward towards infantry so that the hull guns can fire in addition to the coaxial. It does make a difference, actually. Field gun cleared, shock troops pinned by the machine gun bunker, and there's a half track with Grens inside going hard on these shock troops. Smoke grenade. Spread out, please. Rifle grenade is about to do something horrible to those shocks. Ouch. 1 wiped, 2 wiped. And that squad will get away by a tiny sliver via some kind of miracle. I think this Fallschirmjäger squad is going to get instantly melted since it didn't make an immediate attempt at a retreat, and it is now standing in a Molotov and it is dead. Okay. You know, after... This isn't like a tower defense. After you deploy Fallschirmjäger to a location, they like have legs and can keep running around. You don't have to just leave them AFK wherever you fielded them. Pro tip. Panther sitting here defending the center point. 2 squads of Volksgrenadiers making their way right to take advantage of strategic and munitions points over there. And everything else is going to retreat into the base for some healing. Mortar half-tracks, or no, not mortar half-track, regular half-track circling back towards, where is the mortar? There it is. Axis have a pretty decent defense set up here in the middle, all things considered. They're going to have to find some way to stop the shock blob. Currently the shock blob is 4 shock troops strong, 5 shock troops strong.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Soviets have basically nothing but shock troops. Some more dead Fallschirmjäger over there. Hide in that building. That'll help. These 2 Volksgrenadiers just hanging out on the cutoff over here to maintain the fuel income right there. I think Recon just got called in by Thunderbuddy somewhere. Maybe you might be able to spot this coming. Panther's ready for this. Mortar half-track's ready for this. Fallschirmjäger just died. Panzer IV is over here. And has 2 squads of Grenadiers inside. Well, here comes the Soviet swarm. Runs straight up into that scout car. Gets the AT grenade off. There's engine damage. Panzer IV and Panther dealing minor damage to these troops, but will prompt a full retreat from 3 full health shock troops that weren't even hurt yet. T-34 now has no support really. Up against a Panther, it will lose, guaranteed. T-34 making its way down this central road to assist in an engagement for the middle, but since all the shock troops have retreated already, except for these 2 somewhat wounded squads, one of which is basically useless inside of this little building, they don't even have a way to force retreats from a few LMG Grenadiers. That building looks like it's going to get destroyed, and a shock troop squad's going to die any second. There it goes. Shock's wiped. T-34 has engine damage. Panther has barely received a scratch. AT gun gets cleared. AT gun in the south firing at that. T-34 will have no problem killing that with a Tiger helping in the engagement. I'm pretty sure that looks like it's probably GG. Soviets don't even really have any fuel since they both went tier 3 and neither of them can afford their call-in tanks. So I don't think there's any way that they can possibly turn this game around. Everything they have is dead, except for a few shock troop squads, which can't do anything against the Tiger. So I think we're looking at the end, although they are floating a ridiculously huge amount of resources, so... Okay. Allies have surrendered. Well, that was definitely one of the lower skill games I think that I can ever remember casting. So I'm just not even going to make any post-game comments. GG, Axis wins.